Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So today, more progress on the 69 EV. Overall, it probably looks a bit about the same as it did yesterday. That's because the things that we did today were all much smaller than putting the body on the pan, which of course was a huge thing that we did yesterday. So let's jump in and talk about some of the little details we did today. One of which was add these little caps on the hinges. Just a nice little detail the cars are supposed to have. Like a lot of cars you see, they don't bother putting those on, or they're missing or whatever, for whatever reason. The other thing we did, kind of a big deal I guess, is we put a windshield in it. So look at that, looking good with its trim and everything. And we put on the rear view mirror, starting to really look like a complete car. We were going to also do the other fixed windows, so the rear quarter windows and the rear windshield. Unfortunately, we somehow neglected to get the rubbers for those, the seals for those. I think we asked for them and somehow they didn't get put on our order, so it's okay, we'll get them and we'll pop them in next week. It's not like we're ready to, deliver the car and we're not having windows in it. So yeah, we'll do those next week. But yeah, let's see, trying to think what else we did today. What I worked on this morning for a while was to put on the truss bar. You can see it's all mounted up in there now. So I mentioned before that there's some trimming needed where the truss bar mounts to the shocks at the body right there. It wasn't actually too bad. I mean, it still took a while just to kind of mock things up and then do some trimming and then refit things, mock things up again, do some more trimming. I don't like to just go hogging out material unnecessarily, so kind of taking my time figuring out where things are going to fit, where they need to line up, removing kind of the minimal material, plus obviously a little gap, extra couple millimeters of gap. But again, I didn't just want to go hog wild in there and start grinding everything out more so than needed. So yeah, kind of took my time, got everything fit up there on both sides, and then did the final installation and tightening down of the truss bar. So yeah, it's all tightened down now and should be able to stiffen up the rear of this car. Again, this thing's going to have tons of torque with the EV motor in it, so that bar is to kind of stiffen up the back of this thing and keep the frame horns from flexing around. So I got that done, and then finished installing the steering. This was just kind of hooked up loosely before, so I went and did kind of the final installation of it and checked everything out. It's all looking good. Everything's tightened up there now. The one exception being that the tie rods aren't tight. I just did a quick kind of eyeball alignment of it. But another thing that I did today was order the tires, which are supposed to be here tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow this car is going to be sitting on the ground on tires. So that's pretty exciting. And then when it is, then I'll go ahead and I'll do a preliminary alignment on the car. Of course, the weight won't be quite right because it's obviously not going to have the battery pack here and so on, but I'll get the alignment pretty close. And then when the car settles down, when it's all finally has everything in it and weighs the proper amount and the suspension is sitting at the right height, then I'll do a final alignment and get everything dialed in. But for now, at least I'll get it close, and then we'll fine tune it towards the end of the build. So trying to think what else, just some other little details here. The little back seat stoppers, put those in. Nothing like huge enough to really spend a lot of time talking about, just little details here and there on the car. The other thing Rafa spent some time on today is starting to restore all of the door mechanisms, so the striker plates and the latch mechanisms that go in here. There's nothing really to show for that, just cleaning them. They had overspray all over them because they were still on the car during a lot of the paint and body work part of the process. So he was taking those and getting all the overspray off them, cleaning them, lubricating them, checking, make sure that they were functioning properly. And got this little stopper back here installed. I don't remember if he did that today. or yesterday. But yeah, one other thing that he did, which was kind of a cool little touch, was the customer actually said they don't want a radio. Apparently they don't really listen to music in their car, which I can understand. I don't have a radio in, well, any of my car. Well, I take that back. I have one in my 56 convertible that I hardly ever use. The red car doesn't have one because you wouldn't be able to hear it, and the split window doesn't have one because it doesn't have one. Anyway, so because there's no radio going in here, it really didn't make any sense to have an antenna, and so Rafa actually had this vintage original antenna cap in his stash that's got a chrome plug on it and a nice little seal that goes around it. So that gets installed in there. You can't really see the back side of it so much, but yeah, just kind of a neat little touch to block that off. Him and I discussed putting the antenna on it, and we both decided it would be kind of dumb looking to have an antenna when there's not even a radio in the dash. And then he remembered that he had one of these little vintage original plugs. So yeah, that went into very cool little detail. It's gonna look much cleaner than having an antenna here with no function at all to plug a hole. So other than that, errand running and so on, I picked up the last couple pieces of leather, and then our interior guy came over today and we discussed in detail the pattern, the exact pattern that we want, the seats. I don't know if I mentioned before or not, but this car is actually getting a pair of front scat seats. They're kind of like a Recaro style seat that the customer actually got with the car. They were in the car when they got it. So those are going to be upholstered in leather, and then the stock back seat also is going to be upholstered in leather, and then all the door panels and the rear quarter panels also in leather. So yeah, picked up the rest of that leather today, finalized the design with our interior guy, and sent him on his way. So hopefully the seats will be coming along here in the coming weeks. And yeah, so I'll show you guys those once they come in. Should look really nice. They're going to be two-tone gray, kind of a lighter gray and a darker gray, and the lighter gray, which is going to be in the seat centers, is actually perforated, so it should be really nice. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.